Hey guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to fix an issue that every crocheter goes through at one point or another, myself included. I'm going to be showing you how to fix the very annoying knotted mess of crochet that you can get in the yarn and turn it into something that is actually usable when you crochet. I've done a post about this on my blog. You can go ahead and check that out in the description box below. So, now let's get started. How can you prevent tangled yarn and avoid this mess? Is it possible? That's what I'm going to talk about today. So, when you first get a skein of yarn, there are two different strings that you can pull from. You can either pull from the inside so that you are using the skein from the inside out, or you can pull from this string on the outside, which will unravel the entire outside. There are advantages and disadvantages to each of these, and that's what I'm going to be going over today to see if one or the other works better for keeping your yarn untangled. So, personally, I use the center pull. And the advantages that I see from this are, I feel it's easier to pull the yarn from there. I don't have the yarn rolling all over the place because it's not getting pulled from the outside, it just stays in one place. And I pull it straight from the center. I think it's a little bit easier. I feel like the yarn stays in place a little bit more. And if you see me looking over here, it's because I have the blog post pulled up so that I don't forget anything. So I'm kind of just going over my work. So if you see me looking over here, that's why. The disadvantages of this is when you get to the center. When the yarn starts dwindling down and you get to the center, there is going to be a giant knot in the middle. Almost every single time. I don't think I've ever had a skein of yarn, no matter which way I pull from, not have a knot somewhere in the center. So it will look like this. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it will be a big knot, sometimes it will be a small knot. Usually there's a small knot, and then all of a sudden you get the giant knot where you just get a plop of yarn and the mess is everywhere. So you still will get a knot whether you pull from the middle like I do. And I've also heard some people say that when you pull from the middle, the yarn gets thinner than if you pull from here, which makes a little bit of sense. The yarn is more, it's getting pulled a little bit more, and it's coming from the center where it's getting a little bit crushed. I've never had an experience with that, but I've never really paid much attention to it, so I guess if I haven't paid attention to it, it could or could not be there. I'm not really sure, but I haven't had an issue with it, but I have heard other people have thought that happens. So then we have the outside pull. Like I said, this is not my preferred method of choice, but I'm trying to remain unbiased here and giving advantages and disadvantages of each. So like I said, the advantages of this, I tried to find some, I didn't really see many, but the advantages of this is some people say that the yarn will stay the same thickness than if you pull from the inside. And some people like this method a little bit more because they feel that it doesn't tangle as easy as the inside does, but I don't think that to be the case because I sometimes grab the wrong string. I grab the wrong string and I end up pulling from the outside. And the disadvantage to pulling from the outside are when the yarn ball gets down to the bare minimum, I find that this string has become undone and pulled because I've either pulled from this one and I've wrapped it around on this side, and then I've pulled from this side and I've wrapped it around on this side, and I feel that the two end up getting tangled anyway, and yarn will start falling off of the edge of it and it will just turn into a big mess anyway. So no matter what side you pull from, I feel like either way you're gonna get your yarn tangled. So how do you fix that? There are ways you can roll your yarn so that you will prevent tangles. Some people do that at the beginning when they first get their skein before they even use it. I'm a bit lazier and I wait until I get a giant knot and then I continue to use the yarn with that giant knot in it until the yarn knot gets too big and too irritating and I end up just using one of these methods anyway. Maybe the more difficult version, but I'm also pretty lazy when it comes to rolling my yarn. I don't find it very enjoyable. I would rather I just get so excited, I just want to start directly on my project and worry about it later. So, one of the methods that I use is rolling your yarn on a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll, and that method is pretty good because you can roll it up and it's less likely to get tangled from the middle, but with me, I've noticed that it still does get tangled because the yarn will fall off of the sides and will end up getting tangled in a huge knot on the sides of it. And also, I never seem to remember that I want to use this method, and I always throw out my empty toilet paper rolls and my paper towel rolls. So I usually have not used this method. Plus, it hasn't really worked for me in the past. It may work for you though. The best method that I have found to keeping your yarn not tangled is rolling it in a ball. It's nice and simple, really easy. Usually the yarn doesn't get tangled. Sometimes if you roll it wrong, the yarn will fall off and get tangled again. So there really seems to be no foolproof way to getting your yarn to stay untangled. It's inevitable when you crochet with yarn, but today I'm going to show you how to roll your yarn into a ball so that you can hopefully keep it as tangle-free as possible. So let's get started with that. So as you can see, I have this giant tangled mess, and I'm going to show you how to turn it into a very nice version of this ball. So the best method for doing this is you have to find the ends. If you can't find the end, the number one rule for me is keeping the yarn as loose as possible so that you can pull the yarn through as easy as you can. Lucky for me, my end happens to be right here. So the method that I usually use is I kind of pull a little bit and I see where the yarn goes. I see how much I can pull and I keep it as neat as possible on top of each other right there so that the yarn that I pull doesn't get untangled. So I'm pulling my yarn. I can see it's starting to get a little bit tighter, and for me, when the yarn gets too tight, it's way too hard. You have to really get your nails in there to get the knots out, and some of them are so impossible to get out that you have to cut them when they get too tight. So you want to keep your yarn, like I said, as loose as possible so that it's easy to get the knots out. So I'm putting my finger through here, following it, pulling it back. I'm going to put my finger in here because that's where the yarn is going, and pulling it back, seeing where it's going. So the yarn is going through these two, so I'm going to stick my hand through and pull my yarn through. Now it's untangled. That part's untangled at least. So I have a little bit of a mess here. I think I have enough to start my yarn ball, so I'm going to go ahead and do that so that this doesn't get tangled while I'm untangling my mess over here. So the way you start your yarn ball is I just take my 3 fingers, and it's almost like starting a magic circle. Take my 3 fingers and I just start wrapping the yarn around. I don't want to make it too tight so that I can't get it off, but just tight enough. So I'm going to unravel just a little bit. So taking my 3 fingers, then I'm going to kind of push it off, but make sure to hold on so that this doesn't get tangled too. Now I'm going to take this yarn right here and wrap it around in this direction to keep the yarn straight right here. Now I ran out of yarn to use. That is the start of a yarn ball. Now I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to go back to just following my yarn string through the mess. So as I can see, it's going through here, so I'm going to go ahead and grab it and pull it through there. Go back to following it, pull it through there, pull it through there, and it's just a repetitive method of following one string, seeing where you can pull it from, and getting it untangled. Like I said, keeping this as loose as possible. If you have to, go ahead, go through the big yarn ball, just pull it apart slightly so that you make sure that it doesn't get rough as you're going through it. And as you can see, my yarn is just falling apart. Just coming straight through, and when I see it getting tangled in something, I'm just going to take my yarn, bring it through, keep doing that. It's just falling right out of here. Of course, this one wasn't too badly tangled, it's just kind of clumpy. So fortunately for me, yours might be slightly different. And as you can see, I have this knot in the yarn itself. The tighter I pull it, the harder it is to get that knot out. So it's just like undoing a necklace. You kind of have to just pull it and boop, falls right out. So now that we have a little bit more yarn to work with, I'm going to continue wrapping this here until I get a decent size, like so. So now I'm going to take this yarn and wrap it this way. And this is the key to wrapping a yarn ball. You don't want to wrap it all in one direction because it will fall. You want to keep your yarn. This is going to keep my yarn from unraveling this way. Then I'm going to turn it this way. And I'm going to keep the yarn from falling off of the ball by wrapping it around this way. That way, like I said with the paper towel method, the yarn's not going to fall off of the sides because I'm keeping as much of the yarn in place as possible. Now, this obviously is not a ball. This is an oblong shape. Next, I'm going to show you how to turn it into an actual ball. So, let me get more yarn here and keep pulling. I'm going to make this looser to make it easier. Hopefully we can pull some more. And look at that, we found the other end. I'm not going to worry about that though, I'm just going to keep pulling, and now I have enough yarn to keep going, because it's important that while you're unraveling, you're also rolling it into a ball. Don't wait until the end, because the more string you unravel, the more chances you have of this part getting into a tangled mess after you've already untangled. You don't want to untangle it twice. So now, as you can see, it's already slightly getting tangled, so we're going to throw that around and loosen it up so it doesn't. Now we're going to turn this into a ball. So I'm going to start going sideways here, and I'm going to make sure my yarn isn't all on top of each other. I don't want to just keep making a big stack. I want to kind of spread it out a little bit. Oh, now it's falling off. So I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to keep it on there by rolling it this way. Now I'm going to just turn it, and I'm going to keep the yarn together by going this way with it. And now I'm just going to go around like that, keep doing that. Now that I've gotten all of my yarn kind of in a star pattern here, I don't want it to get too far this way. I kind of want it to go into a ball shape, so I'm going to move it and move where I'm wrapping my yarn. Let's just say over here. I just sit there and do my best to keep the yarn from falling off. As you can see, this method is pretty easy for a way to untangle your yarn, because I'm not even struggling. I'm just simply letting the yarn go where it goes, and until I get hit with a knot, then I just have to kind of unravel it a little bit more when I get hit in a tight spot, and it just falls straight through. You don't want to struggle with your yarn. Go ahead and ravel it some more, and then when it starts getting a little too big, I'm going to turn it on its side. Just start. And as you can see from me just kind of making these little X's, it's starting to turn into a ball. So now I think I have enough in this little X. So now I'm just going to rotate over here and start kind of creating another little X. Let me grab some more yarn here. Once you get the hang of it, it's super easy. Of course, it's still going to be frustrating. I know some people find this relaxing though, which I think is super funny. I think it's very frustrating. I mean, I guess it could be considered kind of relaxing. This is just, unfortunately, part of what you have to deal with when you are a crocheter. But when you use this method, hopefully it will be easier for you to untangle your yarn, and it will be less of a stressful mess. Once you get a little bit there, I'm going to turn it to the side, and I'm going to hold it in place with another little X. And that's basically all that it is to rolling a ball of yarn. It's just making a little bit of an X, keeping your yarn loose as possible so you can have the easier time when untangling the mess that you have. And that's about it. That's all you really need to get a ball of yarn. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this mess that I have here, and I will be right back with the outro. Stay tuned though, because I'll have a product that you need to see if you crochet a lot, and it will be able to be used when you make this little guy right here. And here we go. We have a nice easy ball of yarn that we can crochet with, just like the other one. So that's a super simple method that you can use in place of the skein. Like I said, some people do that before that they even start. Other people, like me, they wait until the skein gets a huge knot in it and they end up regretting their decision every single time. Trust me. If you use this method, whether you do outside pull or inside pull, you are going to get a knot almost every single time. I'm serious, I don't think I've ever had a crochet skein that does not have a knot in the center or on the end when I finished it with the outside pull either. So if you want to prevent all of that, go ahead and turn your skeins into a ball before you even start using them. That is the method that I recommend, and one that I may start just so that I can use the new product that I've bought. Of course, all of my skeins are old and they're all untangled anyway, so I may be doing a lot of yarn rolling soon. So, the new product that I'm telling you about. When you use a skein, of course, using outside pull, like I said, it's going to roll away from you because the yarn has to unravel on the whole thing. If you use inside pull, you're going to get a knot, but it's going to stay in place. When you use a ball, however, of course, it's a ball. When you use it, it's going to roll away from you. You're going to end up chasing your yarn all over the entire living room, bedroom, wherever you are. So that is going to make your yarn less tangled, but it's still going to make your crocheting annoying because you're chasing this ball all over the place. So the way that we fix this, use this product that is essentially a bowl made for crochet. I wish I had the product on hand. I don't. If I can put in a picture somewhere, I highly doubt I'll be able to. But if I can flash a picture across the screen through editing, I'll be able to show you. If not, it'll be linked in the description below. Basically, it's this wooden, plastic, metal, whatever material they use. The one that I'm going to be recommending to you is a wooden bowl that has a little swirl on the side and 3 little holes so that you can stick your yarn through the little swirl. You can stick the end of your yarn through the little swirl, or you can stick it through one of the 3 holes depending on how you prefer to roll your yarn. And your yarn will stay in that little bowl, in the ball. So you can pull the string straight out of there and your yarn is going to stay in place. It's going to be right there for you, right next to you, wherever you have it, on the bed, on the couch, whatever, on your lap. And at first, I was a little bit skeptical about buying this because really, do I want to spend, you know, $30, $20, whatever I find? Do I really want to spend any amount of money just to keep my yarn in place? And like I said, I was skeptical at first, but when I decided to break down and actually buy one, because I started this crochet business and I do a lot of crochet and I want to make my crochet process as easy as possible, I love this bowl. I think it is awesome. It's lightweight, it looks pretty, and it literally just keeps your yarn in place, makes it easy to pull the string through so that you can crochet at a faster speed, which makes it more efficient. So if you crochet a lot like I do, I really highly recommend you get this crochet yarn ball. Now I am a Joann's affiliate, which means if you purchase this bowl through one of my links, I may receive a commission for it, but as I described in my private policies page on my blog, which you can read down below if you want more information, I only recommend products to my viewers and my readers that I have actually tried and I know are actually good. I'm not going to recommend you any products that I have not physically bought and used or know is a good product. If it is not a good product, I will not recommend it to you. I go over all of that in my private policies page, like I said, linked down below, but it will help support me to up my quality of my videos and it will get you a cool new product. So really, it's a win-win because I don't think I mentioned it. If you buy through one of my links, I get a commission, but it is at no extra cost to you. So I think that's about it. If you like this style of video that I'm trying out, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, it's free, just do it. It lets me know that you like these videos and I'll be sure to make more of them. As you may have noticed, I'm doing more face cams lately. Hopefully when this video goes out, I will have a few already posted and you'll already know why that I'm doing them. Basically the gist of it is, if you haven't seen the video yet, I'm trying to post more consistently on YouTube and getting my face out there with my brand, which is something very uncomfortable for me to do, but I'm getting more comfortable with it, as you may have seen from the first video to now. So I wanted to post a post on my blog and then occasionally, if I can, I will post the YouTube video of me talking about it here on my YouTube channel. So if you want to see the written version of this blog post with the affiliate link for the crochet bowl that I have recommended for you, that is down in the description. If you just want to look at the crochet bowl, the link is also down in the description. Like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to follow my email list, all of that good stuff, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.